Hello and welcome to the Webmaster webinar for June of 2015. Welcome, I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb. Today we're going to go through a bunch of things, and we have a whole lot of folks already scheduled on here. I think we're going to be moving to quarterly for these events going forward because we haven't had dozens of people sign up, and I want to make sure that this is helpful. If you do have suggestions or questions or things that you'd like to see on the Chapter Webmaster webinar, please do get a hold of us at chaptersite.com/support and log in those questions so that we can help you out. I'm going to talk through how you can ask questions during the event in just a moment. For now, though, we're going to talk through a couple reminders, and then we're going to go into a primer on images, and then how to update your chapter logo. Now, this is different for every chapter, but I wanted to show a basic way on how you can use the latest WordPress tools to update your chapter logo. And then if you do have problems or issues with your chapter logo after that, of course, get a hold of us at support. Again, I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb, and this is what we're going to do today. BizzyWeb, of course, is an online marketing agency focused on web design and web hosting, and that's why we're here. We do a whole bunch of other things, and so if you need any help with any online marketing related things, let us know. We're here because I'm a longtime volunteer with IABC, that's me, and I was the chapter president in 2009 and 2010. We were International Chapter of the Year for that year, and I was the Gold Quill Chair for the entire Gold Quill program in 2012. IABC did need some help right after that, after losing their on-site IT staff, so I stepped in, and BizzyWeb, as of October 15th, 2013, we stepped in to manage chapter sites as the preferred vendor of IABC. And as part of that, we agreed and offered to run and maintain regular webinar sessions for our chapter webmasters. And I want to make sure that everyone's getting benefit out of this again. So if you are not getting benefit out of it, or if you'd like more help, please do let us know. The best way to let us know that is to go to chaptersite.com. The URL is right on the lower right corner of the screen right now. And go to the support page at just support, or click on the support button, and then ask us that question or get us that feedback so that we can add that into our events. Let's go into how to ask questions quickly. I'm just going to switch screens. And from chaptersite.com, there's two ways that you can get into the event today. And we have a bunch of viewers already. So if you look in the email that you should have received, you can click right here to go into the register page for the June webinar. And inside of this one, we've got an embedded video. If you've clicked on the home page, or from the home page on the June Webmaster webinar, then you'll be able to click and go in here and edit this up and see it as well. If you would like, you can either view through this page or through the other page that I showed you, which was the link that you would have received via email. And if you're not receiving email, please do let us know via the support page. And support is available right up here in the upper right corner. If you'd like to ask us questions during the event today, the easiest way is just to click on this link and Google Plus on number 2 there. That's going to bring up this page. And inside of this page, you'll notice that it says Q&A and live. And so if you click this, it's going to open up a new window on top of this window. And then I'm going to mute the sound here so that we don't hear me twice. And then you can ask questions via the Q&A tool right here. So if you go ask a new question, click that green button. You need to be logged in with your IABC, or not your IABC, your Google Hangouts ID or your Google ID. And then you can just ask a question here. When you do that, I will see it, and I'll be able to respond during the event. We're going to go through a few things that are kind of high level, and I won't be on this screen for that. But as soon as we get into the chapter site demo and how to modify the logo in your Webmaster or in your web page, we'll go through that. So let me switch back over to the presentation. And again, if you have any questions and would like to log those questions from this page or from either page that you would get to in the event, just click on under number 1, the Google Plus page link. And then when you go to the Google Plus page link, it's going to take you to a page that looks like this, and you'll be able to ask questions. So please do ask those questions, and we will help you out from there. All right. So we know why we're here. Let's talk about some image editing tips while we wait for everyone to get online. All right. In order to edit images, there's a few rules of thumb that you want to use when you're updating your website. First, you don't really need to upload massive images. One of the benefits and drawbacks of our modern lives is that we all have multi-megapixel cameras in our pockets with our phones. And so it's easy and sometimes dangerous to upload images from your phone or from other places, because we all have such massively high image quality in our phones and in our other documents. So make sure that you keep your images small when you load them into your site. 1024 by 768 is usually about as large as we would ever need. Now, a lot of us do have higher resolution screens, but keep in mind that you're also developing now for mobile devices, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little while. So keep your images small. It keeps things easy to download. You want to make sure that you're compressing your images as much as possible, wherever possible. For blurry images, anything that's a photo or that has soft edges, or headshots of people where there's a lot of gradients, JPG compression is usually about the best. And you can safely set your JPEG compression at least 50%. And good image editing tools, and I'll share a few of those in a moment, good image editing tools will let you view your compression levels side by side to see how much compression is affecting the quality of your image. Most times I can get to about 80% compression before I can notice with my eyes that there's a degradation in image quality. And that would take an image from 800 or 8 megabytes down to under 1 megabyte. And generally, if we're already starting with a 1024 by 768 image, that should already be well under a megabyte. You should shoot for image sizes under 100 kilobytes, or about a tenth of a megabyte. So if you can get that in that range, most modern browsers and phones be able to handle that no problem. So there's that. And then if you have other images that you want to use that are like graphics or other items, you can use PNGs or GIFs, PNGs or GIFs. Yes, I'm a hard G GIF guy. If you have animations or line art that you're trying to incorporate and use for your website, infographics or logos, anything with transparency on them, use PNGs or GIFs. And for that, you can set animations at 128 colors or less. Again, view them side by side. In most cases, you'll be able to get down to at least 32 colors, which 128 colors versus 32 colors, that's a quarter of the size. So if you can bring it down as small as possible, under 100 kilobytes, best under 30 kilobytes, will help you out massively. So in general, your size should be as small as possible. If you want to optimize your images, there's a tool out there by Yahoo, of all places, called Smushit. And if you go to smushit.com, that's an easy way to compress the images of your site automatically. And generally, it does this without a noticeable quality reduction in your imagery. Works slick. It's kind of an all-in-one tool, and there's plugins available for that on WordPress. And that's actually part of one of the plugins that BizzyWeb recommends for all of our sites. And so you should have that, or a tool to enable that on your site. And so you can easily do that. All right. So let's move on to the next item, editors. So if you're looking to edit your images, the best way to do this, the best way to manage these is to use a proper image editing tool. The one that everyone's familiar with and that's used forever is Photoshop. Photoshop tends to be relatively expensive. Most Photoshop installations are now on a monthly plan, and those start at around $50 a month. You may have some luck in getting a nonprofit discount or an education discount, depending on how friendly you are with your local Photoshop or Adobe location or reseller. And but in general, Photoshop can do absolutely everything, but it's kind of like using a 747 to migrate to work. There's a lot of other tools that you can use that would be less expensive and less heavy as far as needing a lot of input and connections to help you resize images, place them in, smush them down, and publish them on the web. In Windows world, the one that I like using is just a web version it's called Pixlr. And on a Mac, Pixelmator is the one that I prefer to use. The only issue with Pixelmator is that you can't handle EPS images, and that's going to be an issue, as you'll see in just a little bit, because it doesn't. The official versions of the IABC logo are available in EPS, and so you're going to need to find an EPS editor of your choice, and maybe or you may find a need to just get like a Photoshop or another tool that will edit EPS files in order to make your image or your IABC logo look great on your site. So those are the ones that I would recommend. And in order to find photos, again, we're talking about photos for your website for public consumption. And so you need to make sure a bunch of things on your imagery. First, that your photos are relevant and that they're working for what you're trying to convey. You need to watch the underlying meaning of any images and the context of images that you find. Culturally, in particular, there are a lot of different ways that images can be absorbed or used, and some types of images or some colors or some contexts might not always be readily understandable by you and might have a completely different use or meaning across the pond or in different areas of the world. Make sure that you get the rights to use your images. Don't use Google image search to find images. Even if you type free and an image that you're trying to find. So in this case, bees. All of the images or most of the images that you would find would have some sort of copyright attached to them. And one of the things that the photo or the stock image industry does is they have tags on their images, and they can actually search for their images on Google. And you can actually search on Google for any image by uploading the image into Google, and Google will spit back any place that it has found that image. If someone on your team, on your web editing team, uploads a copyrighted image that's owned by, for example, Getty Images, Getty won't ask you to take it down. They'll send you a bill, and that bill could range from several dozen to several hundred or even more than $1,000 to pay for that image that you've used outside of copyright. So they'll just say, hey, it's great that you used our image. Here's the fee to use our image. You've already used it, so you already owe us the fee. And then you're going to get stuck in a lot of legal issues. Now, usually that's you can talk to the image editing site or the image house and decrease the level or the fee associated with that image. But in general, as a nonprofit chapter of IABC, you're going to want to get the cheapest and or freest images possible. So my recommendation on that is PhotoPin. And so let me just go over to PhotoPin for a moment and show you what I mean. And for the viewers on the event today, if you do have questions, please go ahead and ask those. but let's go to PhotoPin for a second. If you go to photopin.com, what you'll see is that there's a simple, easy interface. This is free photos for bloggers and creatives, and you can search millions of Creative Commons photos and add them to your blog posts. And also goes for your imagery, goes for everything that you need on your website. PhotoPin is essentially a front-end interface for Creative Commons photos on Flickr. So it searches the Flickr database, plus a few other places. But for example, if I need computer, I'm going to type in computer, and then here are the license types that I can get. Notice that non-commercial is selected here. I'm going to click commercial and make sure that I've got that set. I can even unclick non-commercial so that only commercial images are here. These flags with sponsored on top of them, those are images that you would have to purchase. And so that's available from Shutterstock, I believe. But any of the images inside of here, so for example, this image, I can preview it, hover my image over it. It's like, well, that looks good for adding an image to my website. So then I'm going to click the Get Photo button. When you click the Get Photo button, a new window pops up. And then from there, you get the image download. And so you can see, again, large is about all you would ever need. Generally, you want to get it as close to the actual image size that you want. So I might download the 500 by 367 if that's all I need. And then the second part that you need to do is grab the HTML attribution. So you grab this and you import it into the attribution or the caption area of your image in WordPress, and that would handle it. And what that looks like is it just says, in this case, photo credit via, or photo credit ROO10015 via PhotoPin, and that's what it says. It has a couple of links inside of there, gives proper attribution per the Creative Commons license that Flickr user ROO10015 has added to their image when they loaded it up. Keeps you safe, keeps your chapter safe from licensing and fees, and it's just an easy way and a great tool to find great images. So if you have questions about that, by all means, drop that in the Q&A tool on the chapter website page here. And again, that's available from right inside of here. When you go in here, this is where I see that, and go ahead and ask those questions. All right, so one last thing on images, SEO and web use. If you're going to use your images on the web, which is of course why we're here, you're going to want to make sure that you include alt tags, and alt tags is alternative text that's used for both search engine optimization and for usability, for accessibility, web browsers and readers, for folks of all stripes. If you have sight issues or vision impairment, or if you're using this as a reader or having Siri on an Apple device read something for you, the alt tag is going to tell that reader or that device what is included in that image. And that's obviously helpful for search engine optimization, because the more Google knows about what's on your page, and if your images are relate well to the content that you're trying to publish, then that content, of course, is going to rank higher or show up as higher quality inside of every event. So make sure that you share and be fair with images, and don't use copyrighted images. It's just dangerous, in addition to being illegal, and you're going to run into issues and fees, almost guaranteed, if you just go to Google image search and start grabbing images. So make sure that you're using a tool like PhotoPin or using your own imagery. If you do use imagery from events of yours, make sure that you get at least a blanket license or waiver included on your registration form for your event that says any images or your attendance of this event indicates that you're okay with us using any images that we find. Now, be good about those images. Only post flattering pictures of people, and or things that, you know, if you find someone outside smoking, don't take a picture of them and post that on the web. Make sure that it's a good business image. So people shaking hands, smiling, looking wonderful is all fantastic. But make sure that you're treating folks appropriately and respectfully, as well as just being careful with how you take care of your images. So whether it's your images or whether you're finding them on the web, make sure that you're taking care of that quickly and easily. So let's go over and get to the main event here and talk about how you can add and edit your images to, or your new logo for the new IABC logo to your website. Now, I want to go back and bring one thing in here and talk about the brand identity guidelines for a moment. This was developed and made available to all chapter leaders. If you have not seen the IABC brand identity guidelines, I just want to highlight the details of these for just a moment so that everyone's on the same page as you're loading these up to your website. These are available from a Google Doc download via the Leader Center on IABC's website. So go to IABC.com, go to your Leader Center page. If you don't have access to Leader Center, ask one of your leaders to grab this brand identity guideline and the logos that you need for your chapter. And in most cases, the logos have already been created for your chapter. You just need to grab the correct version and pop it in. So for brand identity, you know, there's a lot of details on what the brand is and what it does. What we're interested in this case is what the logo is and what it does. So there's a symbol and there's a logo type, and then there's a chapter piece after that. This talks about how to use it. There's 3 acceptable versions of the logo type color, which is blue, gray, and just with a white background. And then there's a black and white and a reverse version. And reverse versions can be used in different colors, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. But here's basically what we have. So you don't want to put a drop shadow after it. You don't want to rotate it. You don't want to have wrong colors in the word mark. You don't want to squish it. And you don't want to use unapproved colors in the symbols. For logo dimensions, you know, basically if you just go with what's going to be available and downloadable from your Leader Center, you're going to be okay. But in general, it's 3 inches and then double wide at 65 point with Myriad Pro semi-bold, semi-condensed as the logo type. And so make sure that you're using the appropriate stuff inside of here. And then for chapter logos, you're simply going to put your chapter's name underneath IABC and equidistant to the bottom of the logo. So you're just going to push up the IABC, or the International Association of Business Communicators, and then Ohio, in this case, pops underneath here. Or Los Angeles in color, Ohio in black and white, Newfoundland and Labrador in black. Notice how it all wraps up and it's the same height as the top and the bottom of the logo type of the round graphic. So for your chapter logo, this is exactly where you want to be. Actually, it's a little bit lower inside of here, and you can see the actual dimensions inside of the brand identity guidelines. And then as far as colors, what you want to do, you can pop these in and put them, you know, either with the single with the logo type in the middle if you don't use the entire thing. So just the name either on the side or on the bottom. And you can put different colors in as necessary as secondary chapter logos, and all kinds of examples, all kinds of uses. Make sure that you're in detail looking at what these do. The final thing is that you need to make sure that you're choosing an appropriate color, and all of the available colors for the primary color palette are again included on page 20 of the brand identity guidelines. So from Pantone 116 to black, you're going to be able to use these, and then their secondary color palettes. Those are the palettes for the wording. That's what you can use inside of here, from a cool gray to a white as secondary colors is what you should be using. So here's some examples. So IABC International Association of Business Communicators, the full name, Newfoundland and Labrador, down to IABC, Ohio in green, or Newfoundland and Labrador in a kind of a brownish, and then a vertical logo with the IABC circle above and then the name below. Same thing here for Ohio. So there's all the abilities and the details on what you can get. Using reverse colors, very simple. You're just going to pop this inside of, you know, a full page. And actually, if you look at Chapter Site Pro, this would be how you would use that logo color. So this would be about closest to International Association of Business Communicators, Newfoundland and Labrador. It would be included right on here. So, and I'll show you that in just a moment. Let me just switch over for Chapter Site Pro. Oops, let's go here to the actual Chapter Site Pro. And if I'm looking at chaptersitepro.com, it'd go inside of here. So you would pop that in this section and see how that relates to this page. You would simply replace your logo up here with this one. So that's how that works. And so now you've got your image, you've popped it in. It needs to be clear. It needs to be connected with the correct colors. It needs to give you everything that you have on your site and meet all of these needs. Now you want to put it on your website, where you're going to grab a transparent GIF or a PNG and put that in your upper left of your website, generally by chapter. If you would like help on this to see what we can do, or if we can help guide you, again, all chapters have at least an hour of support, so we can use that to guide you on how to update your logo. Gold level chapter sites have 3 hours of support, and platinum level chapter sites have 6 hours of support. So don't be shy of using that to have us help you with that logo. That's definitely something that we can look at. If there's an entire redesign that's included in that, then we'll have to talk about that outside. But let's assume that all we need to do is swap out the logo. Let's go back and show you how you're going to update that site. So right now, the IABC chapter sites website has the old logo. What I want to do then is log in. And again, you're just going to go to WP admin. I'm already logged in. There's also, I believe on most of these, there's a login button down at the bottom. So if you go down here, you can click and log in. And then if you're logged in, you can go to this menu up at the top, or from the dashboard, you can go into the customize. So if you're in dashboard, you would go to appearance and customize. Or if you're up at the top in bug, if you're on the home page of the website, again, you're just going to go to the upper left and go down to customize. Now, once you're in customize, you can change out your logo generally. And again, your chapter site may vary. And Laura, yes, I'll cover Chapter Site Pro in just a moment. Let's for the header image, that's what you're going to be wanting to change. And so if I go inside of this customize, again, this is just little elements of that chapter site. Some chapters have an older version of WordPress. If you do, we're going to need to talk about that, and you're going to need to submit a support request to get updated. But if you're running the recent versions of WordPress, you should be able to just go in and edit your theme. Certainly if you're on Chapter Site or Chapter Site Pro, you'll be able to use these themes or this image editing tool to update your header. So go in, click on the header image, and then notice that it says current header. And then if I hide this image, you can see that this entire thing goes away. So what I want to do is just add a new image, and I'm going to add this one. I actually need to edit the top level. This entire image needs to be 1140 by 120 for the chapter site, URL, and so, or for the chapter site design. And so you need to edit an image, and then you need to throw that image a little bit over to have it show up correctly. Now, if I click on this right now, I actually need to remove some CSS that BizzyWeb did for this particular chapter site theme, or for this version of this theme, but your version should be easy or easier. If I click this over the top and select it, notice that my logo is actually doubled up inside of here, so I have to remove the CSS for the other logo. So I'm just going to go back to this logo for now, and we'll take care of that in the next couple of days. But I wanted to demo how that is. But that's really all the technical difficulty that you'll run into on Chapter Site. If you just go in again to, I'm going to leave this page without saving. If you just go in to the upper left corner of your website, go down to Customize, and then in the header image option down here, you can add your image. It tells you the image size that you need to load up. If you have a different size that you load, it's going to force you to crop it to this exact size. And then you'll be able to use your new image with your new logo on top of it placed appropriately right inside of here. So let's do this as well for Chapter Site Pro. And so inside of Chapter Site Pro, again, I'm just going to go inside of here, and I'm going to go down to Customize. And inside of Customize, there's Header Image. And if I go into Header Image, it's 451 by 120. And it's currently this white. All I did was load this part up. And actually, I need to load a different image in there. But as soon as I load that image into this section, that new logo is going to be up. So I apologize, I didn't get a chance to do that today for you. But I just need an image of 451 by 120. If I click Add a New Image, I can drag an image in there for upload. And so if I try to put in a quick logo image, let's see here. I don't know if this is going to work. Oh, that one's way too big. I'm just going to put in a junk image so that you can see this for now. This is the image from today. This is, you can see the old image, and this is the entire graphic from chaptersite.com. If I click select and crop, it's going to force me to crop this to 451 by 120. So if I click this, this is all I can pick. So if I do this, if I wanted to shrink it down, I can make it like that. But you can see where you want to edit your imagery. And again, this does not meet brand standards, so I'm not going to actually use this. But if I crop image, that's going to show me what it looks like, and that pops that image up here. Now, obviously, I want this to be a red image, and I want it to be a perfect version of that image. So I'm going to go back to the old one. And this, again, is just the logo that has a transparent background that I'm loading on top of it. And so you just need the white version of your logo to go on top of here. So that's all you need to do. I'm going to X out of this without saving anything because I don't need to save this yet, but that's how it would work. So do have a question from Lori, and she said this is the first that she's heard of Chapter Site Pro. And I can absolutely describe Chapter Site Pro a little bit further. So what Chapter Site Pro is, it's another chapter site design that we've created with the brand identity guidelines kind of in mind. And so it's fully mobile responsive. As I squish this down, it keeps your logo front and center, and it keeps it nice. There's a pretty great focus on imagery for the top, where these are just featured posts. Every time you load a new post up, you click featured for the post, and it would go up inside of this slider. And then it has a dedicated call to action, some sections down the middle that you can use to grab people in. And then it also has content right on the home page for events, for updates, what's new in your chapter, all kinds of details. And then a footer down the bottom to give join today, education, events, about us. This is all available to you very simply and very easily. If you request this logo or this theme for your chapter site, we can either give the theme to you for free and allow you to upload and make that theme change. If you would like us to create a development server for you so that you can do the updates to your site without negatively impacting your site. And that includes having us back up your website, install it on a development server, and then as soon as you're happy with the development version, to load it back onto your live server. That one-time fee is $300 US. And if you would like us to do all of the design and movement of the site, then that usually takes us about 7 to 10 hours at our normal hourly rates of $155 an hour. So between $1,000 and $1,500 is usually what this costs for chapters to have BizzyWeb handle this for them and basically take care of all of the designs. There are a couple of chapters that are in the middle of developing this site design, and I don't believe we have any that are up right now, but IABC Chicago is one of the sites or one of the chapters that has opted for Chapter Site Pro. And then quite a few other chapters, Montreal, Utah, Iowa, have used Chapter Site as their logo or as their design of choice. So if you have questions that you would like to either try or get more information about Chapter Site Pro or Chapter Site, please do let me know. That's how to edit your imagery. So I want to switch over again and kind of round things out and go through a few questions and details on Bizzy hosting. And I've added this to the end of this event versus the beginning per feedback that I've received from you as chapter webmasters. So just in general, if you have support requests, go to chaptersite.com/support and fill out the easy form. It's going to ask your name, your website, the page that you're having a problem with, and to upload an image if possible or a screen capture of what you're experiencing. You can also send an email to IABC@BizzyWeb.com, but the fastest way to get support is to go to chaptersite.com/support and fill out that chaptersite.com/support request form. Things that are supported, including helping you with password issues. We monitor and maintain all of the BizzyWeb hosted chapter sites, WordPress software, plugin updates. There's a list on chaptersite.com in the Webmaster forum on what our supported plugins include. Search engine optimization at the site-wide level, so to activate SEO on your site. Social media integration to integrate your Facebook page, your Twitter account, whatever you have. That does not include setting up those accounts, and we can do that for you at an additional fee. But if you need to get your Facebook linked up to your chapter site, we will do that for you. Again, so long as you're hosting with us. We screen for spam and remove and block. We do site backups, malware scanning, and uptime monitoring. Things that aren't supported include content updates. We won't update your site for you. Design updates. We will absolutely help you with any of these things, but they're at additional fees. Updating forms, supporting or updating non-supported plugins, so things that aren't on our list of approved plugins. And again, we have plugins we feel for about everything necessary for a chapter. We just need to standardize and use professional level plugins. There are a few chapters that have uploaded wild and crazy plugins that have wound up breaking the heck out of their site. And of course, we can't be held responsible for that. So that's why we use only professional level tools that we know won't give everybody headaches down the road. So if you choose to forge off into the wild, wild west of the web, we will help you get back, but there's going to be a fee to have the helicopter come and pick you up off the cliff. Forum updates we talked about. Gold and platinum accounts do have general hours that can be used towards any of the above, and all chapters do have at least 1 hour if they're hosted with us, and we build those out or subtract from your account in 15-minute increments. So if you need that, here's what that chaptersite.com/support form looks like. It's very easy. Will take less than 2 or 3 minutes to get up there, but that's the best way to get a hold of us. As far as upgrading plugins and software, as long as it's on the approved list, I would absolutely just let BizzyWeb do it. We do update quarterly, so don't get too antsy if you see that you have plugins that aren't updated. We go through those about once every 3 months and update them. Make sure that you run a backup before you update them, and I'll talk about that in a second. but do your updates one by one. And so that means update your plugin, check your website to make sure that everything's working. And then if it is, back up your site again, update your plugin, the next plugin, and then check to make sure that everything works. And then keep going through that list until you're done. If you do need to update, Backup Buddy is the tool that you should have installed on your website. There are a couple chapters that don't because they still have very old themes that would break if we updated to a new version of WordPress. Generally, those chapters are safe from hackers because they're just so old. Nobody's going to grab the keys of that 63 VW bug. But if you leave the keys running in your brand new Cadillac or brand new BMW, whatever, it's more likely to get stolen or hacked into. So if you're way old, you're probably okay. But if you're a ways back, if you're about a year old, there's a lot of hacks and exploits that are out there for WordPress software. So make sure that you're keeping your stuff up to date. In general, remove your comments and or ideally even turn off comments unless you want people to be able to talk back to your chapter and you have someone that's available to monitor and respond to comments on your site. Make sure that you clean those out, and I would just turn off comments because that's one of the main ways that hackers get into or hijack websites is by injecting code into comments, and it also just junks up your website. One IABC chapter site, when we took over, had over 500,000 comments on it, and that definitely loaded down the site. When we deleted it, it actually freed up over 1 gigabyte of space on that chapter site, and everything was much more secure and much quicker. Delete any old admin accounts that you have. We all go through our chapters life cycle, and webmasters come and go. Any old webmasters you would do well to remove, and leave BizzyWeb, please. It's the BizzyWeb admin. That's how we get into your site and keep monitoring and maintaining it, and keep the Busy monitoring plugin active and installed. If you remove that, we don't have a way to get into your website and we can't support you. So please do leave that. And if you have questions otherwise, make sure that you check the library of past events. We talk about different things each month. We're going to be slowing these down a little bit and switching to quarterly, I believe, unless I hear additional feedback over the next couple of weeks here. But this will be the last one for this quarter, and then we're going to do this next one in another 3 months, just to keep the numbers up. And if there's issues or large things that we need to discuss as a group, I will definitely start up another one. But it seems like actually right now I see there's 3 people on this event, and we've been averaging about 10 to 12 out of the 65 chapter sites that we maintain. And so that means that we're probably not seeing that much value in frequent updates. So the hope is that if we do these, move these to quarterly, we'll have better luck and results. Remember that if your chapter website is not mobile friendly, as of 21 April, Google made mobile friendliness a major ranking signal. What that means is if your website doesn't squish down like you saw Chapter Site Pro and Chapter Site do, and if it's not officially set up as being mobile friendly and set up for different targets and different sizes and all the CSS and things inside of there that you need, then Google won't show your website in mobile searches. So if someone's searching on Google on their mobile device, your website won't show up if they search for your website on Google. It doesn't mean that they won't be able to get to it if they type in the URL. So if they type in chicago.iabc.com, it's going to show up on the site on the web browser. But if you just Google IABC Chicago, your website may not show up anymore because your website's not mobile friendly. Now, updating to either Chapter Site or Chapter Site Pro will fix that. And that is available again. If you're feeling brave, you can do it for free. If you'd like a test server to do it yourself, that's $300. And if you'd like BizzyWeb to take care of all of it, that's usually around $1,000 to about $1,500 for us to make those changes. So let us know if you do have those questions. In summary, Just wanted to wrap up, remind you that BizzyWeb does web design. We also do online marketing. And be sure to join us every week for Busy webinars if you'd like helpful information and news. We do something different each and every week at BizzyWeb.com. So if you go to BizzyWeb.com/events, and we talk about image editing techniques, we talk about search engine optimization, how to use Facebook for business and your organization, and all of that is available to you for free through our Webmaster program, but also it's just available to all of our BizzyWeb clients, and of course, that's who you are. If you would like more detail or help, just go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz. We'll do an SEO report. You can do your chapter's website versus a competitor versus the local PRSA or the local ad agency group organization. And it'll tell you what you're doing well as far as search engine optimization, what you could do better as far as usability, and how you rank against your competitors. So think about that and request it. If you do that for your business, that's also something that you can do outside of IABC. And as a reminder, if you refer business to BizzyWeb, we will take that business and we'll take a portion of the profit and dedicate that to the IABC Research Foundation. So thank you all very much for your time and attention today. I'm going to switch back over one more time, just make sure that we don't have any additional questions. And I don't see any here. How do we know when in the quarter we do the updates, says Lori Johnson. Lori, we don't generally communicate directly to the chapters unless there's something that's going to change or that's something that's going to impact you. So you'll know in the quarter when we do updates, if you visit your website and you simply see that your plugins have been updated. So if there is something where it's going to modify the functionality of your chapter site, or if something's going to change in some way, we do let chapters know about that, but that's very few and far between where it actually requires input from you as a chapter webmaster. If there's something dangerous, we let you know. If not, we just process those updates every quarter. And we have kind of a sliding scale. And some of these updates are lengthier, and so they take a little bit longer. And some of them require testing prior to the event or prior to the updating of that plugin. And so that's why it's a little bit hazy as far as the notification schedule. Wanted to also underscore that if you are a new chapter leader inside of IABC's Webmaster program, please do add your content or add your name to our list by going to IABC or chaptersite.com/support. If I just go to chaptersite.com, if you click on the support link, that's where you're going to be able to update us on your email list and get us on this list so that you get this information and this detail. But you just need to fill in your first and last name, your chapter website URL, how you want to be contacted, and then your email address again so that you can get in there and get us details. And then you tell us what it is. If you need help logging in, instruction on how to do something that's broken, your website's not working, something's critical, or you want something different, or just a question. You just type in that information. And then again, if you have an image that relates to this that would help, please let us know that by uploading that image to the site. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. We'll do these again. We're going to talk in, let's see, this is going to be probably September now, or maybe August, depending on how the response goes. We'll send out a survey to you to make sure that we're hitting what chapter webmasters need. But we hope this was beneficial. Thanks again for working with us and for being a leader at IABC. This is something that we all have dedicated portions of our lives to, so I really appreciate that. Again, I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, at BizzyWeb, we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Have a great couple of months, and we'll talk to you next time.